you want to talk about another policy that you're involved in? Maybe just one more.
Just one more. There's a lot. I'm trying to think if there's something I can speak about publicly. I'll speak about my research that I actually do as a PA, So housing and homelessness, for me, that's a really big one.
Right.
And it cuts across the board. It affects everyone from young to old. It doesn't matter who you are.
Okay.
And housing is very central to just how we do life, how we live. And it affects whether, your employment, your mental health. We've got domestic violence issues. There's a whole range of issues in that space. And what I've been essentially looking at is how do advocacy organizations, how do they influence policy? How are they working with governments to change things? And what are the key challenges in that space? And there is a lot where I feel like we can plug in. And essentially, when you look at the way housing is done in Australia, when you look at the housing market, if you're based in Sydney,
Goodness me, don't say that.
Sydney is ridiculously priced.
Easy.
If you're thinking about getting a property in Sydney, it's like, I'll be working for the next 65 years before I can afford.
I know. Just the deposit, actually.
Just to put down a
to the
deposit.
bank to borrow even more money.
Yeah. And then when you start thinking about individuals like single people in the system, what barriers do they face? When you start thinking about single parent households, what barriers do they face? When you start thinking about the young people that are just finishing uni, you've got a job, the dream that was sold, you go to uni, you get a good job, you get a house, your life begins, but that's not the reality. You have to figure out different ways of living, being accommodated. So for me, it's about what differences can we make as individuals, as a community, for the business community. And then when I think about the system at large, the banks, they're getting the money.
Oh, they're getting big money.
We're paying the interest rate.
Yes. A lot.
And it's that question of how can we connect the dots and make things better for people and make sure that everyone has a roof above their heads. We talk a lot about people are unable to get jobs. Housing is a big part of that. Sometimes when you apply for a job, you're being asked, what's your address? How can we reach you?